Good morning, everyone. Welcome again. I am Professor Mona Nasr, CIO of Helwan University, and I am the professor at Faculty of Computers and Artificial Intelligence, Helwan University. I am going now to discuss a topic, artificial intelligence and critical thinking, in an event for women in data science that is hosted at Stanford University. Our agenda, we will talk about artificial intelligence, the building blocks and the process for artificial intelligence. And after that, we are going to discuss the critical thinking and the difference between critical thinking and creative thinking and how this critical thinking will help us in the process of artificial intelligence. First of all, we want to know what is about the artificial intelligence and what is intelligence. The intelligence is the ability to learn. Your senses absorb the data around you. You can take a few data points and make conceptual leaps. You can see light, maybe you feel heat, and after that, you can infer in the notion that it is summer. Artificial intelligence has three building blocks: massive data, vast computation, and smart algorithm. We are going to discuss the main parts of the artificial intelligence process: the data pipeline, how to feed the machine learning model, and how can we apply this in business application. The massive data or the big data. The massive data is the raw ingredient intelligence in data learning potential. The artificial intelligence is mostly about creating the value for this data. Data has become the core business value when insight can be extracted, and more you have and more you can do. All companies with big data and mindset don't mind filtering a lot of data because they have a value for their data. And the data is the power. Building the quality of the data set is very important. It's very important input and very critical too. We can highlight the word critical here. So human effort must first be spent obtaining obtaining and declinizing data. The computer does the calculation and provide the answer and the output. Machine learning. The machine learning is the ability to take the task, the machine learning is the ability to learn the task without being explicitly programmed to do so. The machine learning encompasses algorithms and techniques that are used in classification, regression, clustering, and anomaly detection. We can see before that we have the main parts of artificial intelligence process, the data pipeline that we collect it and extract it and making extraction for the data, and this data is value for our company. After that, we building our model and feeding our model. The machine learning rely on feeding back loop. Also, the data is used to make the model and then test how will the model fit the data. The model is revised after that for the data better and repeated until the model is improved anymore. Algorithm can be trained with past data to find the good pattern and make a prediction. The business application. We told before that we have three main parts of artificial intelligence process: the data and data pipelining, collecting the data from everywhere, cleanizing, extracting this data, building our model, training our model, and feeding our model, and after that, applying in a business application. Prediction is the core purpose of machine learning. For example, banks want to predict somehow of the fraud detection, telecom to predict some sort of unexpected transaction that can be taken. Retailer want to predict the customer preference. AI can be used in this case. AI enable business make their data asset as an asset in strategic to be differentiated. Prediction is not just about the future. It's about filling the knowledge gap, reducing uncertainty. Prediction let us generalize and making essential form of intelligence. Prediction and intelligence are tied together. So we talk about the main data process for artificial intelligence, the data and massive data and how can we deal with it, the machine learning model and how can we feed it and how can we this model help us in a business application. AI increases our productivity. The question is how we distribute these resources. If the artificial intelligence enhanced production only require a few people, what does that mean for income distribution? All uncertainties, which is a very important factor, are on how the productivity benefit will be distributed, not how large they will be. AI is about trying to getting also control, but maybe it's an illusion. AI will always be limited by execution. Many people are worried about that if they use artificial intelligence will, after that, taking the control. No, the artificial intelligence is limited execution capabilities of the organization. Can business owners deliver opportunities, data input to take the advantage of a model inside and be agile enough to handle changes necessary to respond to artificial intelligence signals? Overall, on big data, on undervalue hunches and experience. Machine learning is already pervasive on the internet, will be some sort of democracy of accessing brought on by the internet continue to favor global all economy. Economic power rests on a few companies that can take power of this. Can the power challenging our collective intelligence continue to be held by these companies? They are positioned to influence our private interest with their economic interest. Nobody knows if the artificial intelligence will produce more wealth or economic for the human wealth. Absent of various regularity measure, it is some sort of increasing inequality and create new social gap. As with all technology enhancement, there will be changing in employment, yes. The number of people employed and the number of jobs and the satisfaction will be delivered for them. So the artificial intelligence will change the job requirement. However, with artificial intelligence, all classes of labor are under threat, including management. Profession, including analysis, decision-making will be the providence for the machine. New position will be created, but nobody really knows their new job. But for that, we need to learn more about artificial intelligence for preparing ourselves for the future. We will shift more to be creative, to extend the income shortfall should be rewarded continuing to small way to collective intelligence for the whole universe, not just a theoretical mean. Maybe our consumption of data, mobile phone, web clicks, sensor provide a digital try to feed into corporate and governmental computer. For government, AI opened new doors to perform some sort of surviving prediction policies and social shaming. For corporate, it's not clear whether some sort of surviving will be personalized to you or not. Will it direct you where they want you to go rather than where you want yourself to go? How will your data be a measure of you? The interesting angle emerging is whether you will be hackable. This is an important question. That when the AI knows more about you than yourself, that will be the point, or that will be the issue, becoming completely influencing everything. And now we are going to discuss about critical thinking and some sort of critical thinking, and we will differ between critical thinking and creative thinking and how this will help in artificial intelligence. The critical thinking is the ability to do and think clearly, rationally about what to do and what you believe. There is great difference between critical thinking and creative thinking. Critical thinking may be concerned with disciplined intelligence, memory training, analytical reasoning, mathematical intelligence, logical reasoning. But creative thinking is concerned with problem solving and enhancing the creativity. The critical thinking is needed to solve the world complex problem today. And about creativity, there are three S's: sensitivity, synergy, and serendipity. The sensitivity means that we sense to discover about the world around us. Why that has happened? How can I do this? A problem we want not a problem finder as well as we want a problem solver. The synergy concerned two or more elements associated is much better to get better results. Example, two hands are better than one. Serendipity means unexpected discovery and lucky accident, and we must not rely on that. There are many attributes for the critical thinker that we will work with artificial intelligence. This person must be open-minded, ask right question, be a rational person, thinks an extra yard or think out of the box, demand reasoning, anything not to be taken as a granted. Not always jump to conclusion. No fear of taking challenges. What is not considered a critical thinking in our world? Criticizing everything and thinking a lot. What can prevent the critical thinking? The personal biasness, inherited opinion, and maybe lack of awareness. What also prevent the critical thinking? Intellectual ignorance أو الغطرسة الفكرية, intellectual laziness, black and white thinking. There are main steps for the critical thinking: analyzing, reasoning. We will discuss more about reasoning, evaluating, validating, and concluding. The reasoning technique in critical thinking, including deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning, and abductive reasoning. The deductive reasoning determines whether the truth of the conclusion can be determined for the rule based on the given items, and we can reach the best approach. Inductive reasoning attempt to support determination for the rule, and abductive reasoning we can get the best explanation. For deductive reasoning, we think logically determine whether the truth for the conclusion can be determined for the whole rule based on the given. We can apply it on mathematical logic and philosophical logic, commonly associated together to give the known results. The inductive technique uses a pattern, concrete instance to arrive to conclusion, attempt to support determination for the rule. It's a way to generalization through observation and careful systematic analysis. But use smaller sample may lead to false conclusion. The abductive reasoning incomplete best prediction observation may be true. Abductive reasoning allow of inferring for the explanation. As you see here, matching between the letters in circle at the left with matching with the items at the right. For summarizing reasoning techniques, the deductive reasoning general specific conclusion rule. Give always true for the conclusion for the result. Inductive reasoning, specific general conclusion observation may be true. Abductive reasoning, incomplete best prediction observation may be true. For that, the deductive reasoning give always true conclusion. Tips for the critical thinking: be aware of your mindset, be willing to say, I don't know, practice tolerance, accept other opinion, understand different point of view, understand before criticizing, emotion get the way for clear thinking, and always examine your source. Over the internet, we can practice also the critical thinking. Be aware of the appearance of the information on the internet. What is the source of the information? Why was the information posted at this time? What is the date of the website? If we revise the site, many things, and we maybe work in the academic field, students write at the end of their thesis a link for the website. So we always ask a student to write beside the website the date, the last retrieved date for this website. Can be information verified anywhere elsewhere. There are universal standards to assure the quality thinking, the clarity, the accuracy for the information, dipping for the information, the logical and the fairness. There are many tools and techniques for the critical thinking, analyzing tenses and application. And for the first thing, we must take the information and the some sort we are going through to make for this an abstraction. We can ask ourselves what, why, how approach to follow. Abstraction, understanding mathematics, designing our model before developing and implementation. Analyzing tenses and application must be followed for the critical thinking. The root cause analysis, we must try to understand the root causes for everything, not jumping to the conclusion, considering immediate cause to involve the problem. Ask ourselves 5 times why. This is an example for root cause analysis. Basically, we must not looking for the plant. We must go through the root. For an example, for root cause analysis for our day, if a vehicle have a battery problem, we at first we ask ourselves why the battery dead. Second, why is there an alternator is not functioning well? Third, why the alternator may be broken. The alternator belt may be useful another way, and the vehicle was not maintained according to the recommended schedule, service schedule. For that, every problem in our life, if we are going to train ourselves to be critical thinker, we must ask about ourselves 5 why. For the conclusion, we do need artificial forms in our life because our prediction abilities are limited, especially when handling with big data and multiple variables. But all it is a stunning accomplishment. AI remained very specific in very specific field. Also learning machine through building data model must be sort of working with narrow areas for learning. Our that deep mind always win. Systematically cannot you cannot eat soup with a spoon and go through and prediction for financial crisis. Filtering and personalization engine have a potential to both accommodate and some sort of interest. Degree of change must be profiled and retrained by generally regularities priorities. Also, laws always lag be behind technology, so expect the slings and narrow out outer range forcing. This is a small presentation for both artificial intelligence and critical thinking. How can we train ourselves? How can we train ourselves to be a critical thinker? Uh, Maybe critical thinking and creative thinking. Um, in our daily life, we can combine them together. Artificial intelligence is the need for everything in our life. We can benefit from artificial intelligence on personal basis and also on if we are working in corporate or an organization, we can use a massive data to predict good answered and good and giving good result for our companies. Thank you for listening and goodbye.